Oh, haha. Whoops. Might want to take the camera cap off. Let's get the light on. Hey, hi, hello, how are you? Meister Chewy here. Friendly neighborhood non binary. Just make it a little brighter. Pronouns they, them, she, her. Another episode of Wake Up Wednesday, episode number 3. Robin Peter to pay Paul. Welcome in, good morning. He's, she's, theys, thems, and others. It's a lovely Wednesday, and we are going to get into it. Give me just 1 second. Once again, running a little behind on some social media things here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's just do that. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing great. We're just going to get into some of the things that have happened in the past week, and a little bit over the past week. First thing we're going to talk about, we're going to say trigger warning, of course, because it is transphobic violence, unfortunately. You might have heard back on, I believe it was the 10th, unfortunately, Juniper Blessing, 19-year-old student in Washington, was stabbed to death 40 times in her laundry room, I believe. Yeah, she was doing laundry. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. I'm not going to give this individual a platform. It's there right below there if you want to look at them and read about them. This was deliberate. It was blatant murder. They disabled the camera beforehand, tried to get away with it, I'm assuming. But no, they are arrested and being charged. Thank goodness. Hopefully, it will be a hate crime. But yeah, no, she's no longer with us, unfortunately. It's very sad. They did have a memorial. Looks like Santa Fe Pride and Human Rights Alliance had a memorial roughly 2 days ago. Yeah, assuming it was a wonderful vigil. Yeah, unfortunately, that did occur, and then people were grieving last week. I don't want to give that too much attention, but counterpoint, somebody who thought that they were, slick and trying to prove that trans people were doing things in the bathroom. This guy called himself Protecting Bathroom, 61-year-old Andrew Sheets. This individual was filming people in the bathroom. He posted a 40-minute clip. Now, if you didn't actually catch anybody doing anything, why did you post a 40-minute clip of people in the bathroom? So it sounds to me, because like the two undercover cops that caught this individual, they said they felt shocked and embarrassed by the video that was posted. So obviously, there's something about that entire interaction that they had that just didn't seem right. So to me, it sounds like he was the nefarious individual in the bathroom doing weird things, trying to disguise himself as some sort of protector, let alone you're in men's bathrooms filming men. What are you talking about? Isn't the whole narrative that they're coming after us, trans femmes and trans women who are trying to go after women in women's bathrooms? What is this guy even talking about? What are you even talking about, dude? Why were you in men's bathrooms filming men and then posting it online? That's got absolutely nothing to do with your Republican representative's narrative that men are in dresses going into bathrooms after women. Two different things. Two very different things. Now, and I normally don't say, let's make fun of this person and call them a closeted gay and da 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 da. Still don't make fun of this person, but they might actually be a closeted gay. This is what? This is strange, dude. This is very strange. Very strange. So unless he has an issue with trans men going into men's bathrooms, like I don't understand. And it's funny, me as a trans femme, I don't give a shit about bathrooms. Other than I think there should be gender neutral bathrooms. And if trans women want to go into women's bathrooms, they should be able to. If trans men want to go in men's bathrooms, they should be able to. Me personally, I would like a gender neutral bathroom, but then again, I'm a non binary trans femme, so that's that. I'm different from a trans woman or a trans man. So my point perspective is separate from theirs. And then at the same time, I'm also an individual that I will intentionally go into a men's bathroom every single time, even if there is a gender neutral bathroom, while I'm fully dressed as a woman, because I want to bother people like this. I like bothering people like this. When I go into their bathrooms, I know they get upset and they get bothered just as much as if they would get upset if I went to a woman's bathroom. So personally, I like bothering these people by going into the men's bathroom. But once again, that's me. I'm not telling you to do anything one way or the other. But hey, if you were looking for something to do to combat that whole bathroom policing, yeah, actually going into the men's bathroom like they want you to, it bothers them as well. So that might give you some solace. Um, let's always got told, "Oh, you're pulling the race card. You're pulling the race card." Right? That's basically what he's saying. That's another thing too. I always love when people like in the comments try to, and even if they're an ally, right? Even if they're on the left of any kind, liberal, socialist of some kind, democratic socialist, communist, whatever. If they try to make the comment of like, "Oh, you just started blah blah blah," no, you just met me. Like I didn't just start doing this. Like, what are you talking about? I was political before I even turned 18. I was radically political before I even turned 18. Don't give me that bullshit. You don't know me. To be completely honest, no, this was not televised. This was not televised, so no. And that's unfortunate. This got very little media coverage. And I don't know if it's because there's so many things happening or because of melanation. But like he's saying, though, it's the beginning, right? That more melanated activists, especially black activists, are starting to speak out again because they were sitting things out, thinking, well, let's have other people realize before we get started again. But I don't know. I don't know if I would agree with that. I'm pretty sure people have been doing work the whole time. But, he still has a valid point in the fact that there are some old civil rights activists from back during the Civil Rights Act that have come back out. Some old ass people. So yeah. Um, do I think enough people are gathering to push Congress in the other way? Yeah. To push various seats in the government the other way, elected officials the other way, judges and things like that, because you probably got judges on the table as well for elections right now. So there's all kinds of elections, and to be completely honest, as you can see, Republicans of all occupations are voting in favor of making things cost more for you. That's the bottom line here. Listen to this. Let's watch this. Let's watch this. And, if you want to argue, they're not voting to make things expensive, they're not making things expensive. I'm sorry, but their policies are what's making things expensive. Their actions are what's making things expensive. If you don't believe that, I don't give a fuck, you're delusional. I'm not going to argue with you in the comments or anything about that. I'm not going to make a video going back and forth with you about it. It's factual. It's not a matter of disagree or agree. It's facts. The war has caused inflation, right? It has. Just like the war with Ukraine back during Biden's administration caused inflation, right? The same thing's happening now, but this time we actually started the war. Our government actually started the war this time. So that's why it's their fault this time. It wasn't Biden's fault last time. Russia started that war. We have no ties to Russia. Well, that administration has no ties to Russia, and I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, the reason why it's this administration's fault is because they started the war. They are spending all this money on war, billions of dollars on war. So that's you know, our money going down the fucking drain, spending money on war that could be spent on, making things better for us instead, right? You could put that money towards lowering our costs on food, right? Like look at New York, look at what they're doing, right? I know some people don't agree with the whole grocery store thing, but that does make the groceries cost less, right? Put some of that money towards making some things like that nationwide so that we can pay less on groceries. How about that? But yeah, like the war is making prices go up. Like various policies that they're doing, the tariffs have made prices go up. Biden didn't do price tariffs. Hello, Biden didn't do tariffs. We all know that. We all know that. Let's not even fucking kid. But here's the thing, I'm not going to go back and forth with you on what a tariff is either. But that's a long, dead conversation. If you still don't get it, you're a fool. Like, you're seeing it right now. Let alone, hello, the tariff checks. Who's getting the tariff checks? The companies are getting the tariff checks. So we already saw the companies raise their prices to cover what the tariffs made them have to pay for in excess, and then also they're getting a refund from the government as well. So we already paid them their inflation fees basically, and then the government's giving them a refund too on top of that. We don't get any tariff refund like they said we were going to. Come the fuck on. Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, once again, that's a fact too. Like, I don't want to hear any fucking bullshit at all. I don't give a shit, even if you do. Like I said in the comments, you can go ahead, and this is, to the TikTok crowd, the Facebook crowd, because that's what it always is. Like, y'all MAGA morons love being on there, I swear to God. Just spewing things that don't make any goddamn sense and denying actual facts. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's hilarious. And then you think it's a debate. Why do you watch videos that you don't like? I don't watch things I don't like. My algorithm doesn't have people that I disagree with on there. So I don't know how the fuck you found me. It's very strange. You really got to fix that. But yeah, it's just that's what I'm saying when I say they're making life more expensive for you. That's why in one of my other videos I said you got to vote them out. Conservatives, conserving, they don't want to give you money. Hello, we have a surplus in our budget here, and people think that's a good thing. That's not a good thing when you've got potholes and various things wrong going in your cities, in your entire state. Your healthcare system is fucking terrible. Your fucking unemployment system is terrible. Like, medical care being provided for the elderly is going to fucking shit. This is a state that has a shit ton of old people, and that's going to shit. But yet we have a surplus, and that's a good thing. What? Spend some of that money on the fucking people. Why are you taking all these tax dollars and just holding on to it? I don't understand that. Like, it's hilarious when somebody said, "Oh, surplus, the surplus. We have a surplus. It's so good. Why do we have all this money and we're not using it? Let alone, like, what is it? Like my previous video, Alligator Alcatraz. Like, things. They're not getting money from the government, the federal government, like they requested. They're probably not going to. So then that's going to fall on to tax dollars. So we'll pay for that, but we won't pay to fix things. That's pretty freaking, pretty crazy. I don't understand that. Oh, I already played the video. I paused it now. Alba, hey, what's up? How's it going? I don't think people fully understand what they're voting for. They hear vague stuff and vote off vibes. Exactly. That's the thing about MAGA. MAGA's huge about that, right? Like, if you listen to some of them, they think conservatives are socialists. They think that they're going to give them all this money, give them health care, clear their debt, all this stuff that conservatives don't do. So you're exactly right. They vote off of vibes, and it doesn't make any sense. They vote off of this guy that they like or this woman that they like, and just because they said a couple of most likely hate speech things, right? Things that they don't like about American, that like, oh, somebody said that they're anti-trans. Oh, I'm voting for that person instead of looking at their other policies where they're going to tax you more, but then they're not going to actually do anything with your taxes, right? Because then those taxes are going towards some data center or some fucking thing that you don't actually fucking want, or some tax breaks are going to people who make a lot more money than you, and you didn't pay attention to the fact that they were saying that plain as day beforehand, right? Like, what was it, Project 2025, right? Like, we were talking about Project 2025, and hey, probably don't vote for Republicans coming up, because this Project 2025 shit's going to be really bad for everybody. But no, people still voted for them, saying, oh, no, that's not going to happen. They even read the shit and was like, oh, Trump said he's not going to do any of that, and that's not going to happen. They all said they're against that. But then some of them did say they were for it, and they still voted for them. And it's like, oh my god, like they're in power, and now you're seeing it. Like, everything's going up, everything costs more, unemployment rates are ridiculous, homelessness is going up as well. Mind you, that was a problem during Biden's administration too. Biden didn't fix that either, which, by the way, just to be clear, I'm not a Democrat. Like I don't know why people keep thinking it's just MAGA and liberals. No, I'm not even a Democrat. I'm an independent and I'm a socialist. Technically, there's no party that is necessarily affiliated with socialists. Mind you, there are democratic socialists, which I do agree with them. And that's probably the closest thing that we're going to get to socialism over here. So I guess I sort of align with Democrats, but democratic socialists really, they're few and far between. So still, but yeah, just to be clear, fucking, this isn't even coming from a Democrat. This is coming from an independent. But let's move on. We're almost halfway through. So, actually, let me pause. Now, if you do follow my social media, you might have seen the clip that I made about the $10 billion lawsuit towards the IRS from Trump about the leaked taxes. Now, we're not going to sit here and debate whether or not that was a legitimate lawsuit or not, if he should or should not have done it. I don't care one way or the other. I think looking at it from the standpoint of a completely unbiased individual, the president suing the government just seems unsavory. That would be like a CEO suing their own company. Like, that just, what? Like, inherently, wouldn't you think that sounds like something nefarious? Like you're trying to steal money? That just sounds like a plan to steal money. Like, why would you not? Unless you're biased, why would that not sound like a plan to steal money? But going on beyond that, nonetheless, a judge was looking at it. They were investigating it, and they were going to basically throw it out. But Trump's team got ahead of it, and they pivoted, and they were like, oh, no, we're going to settle out of court, which is even worse, one would think. I would feel like going through with the lawsuit, which a judge was going to say is nefarious anyways, would seem less, let's just say it, evil. Let's just say it, evil. Would seem less evil and greedy than just being like, oh, yeah, we're going to settle with ourselves out of court. And that's what they're doing. So instead of $10 billion, they're settling for $1.7 billion, which they're going to create, as people are saying, is a slush fund to then do with as they please. People think that they're going to dole it out to January Sixers because of the wording, the rhetoric that they're saying behind this fund sounds like they're talking about people who were January 6 rioters and then got imprisoned, and they're trying to say, oh, well, this is reparations essentially because their lives are ruined now because they're labeled as terrorists and can't get jobs and so on and so forth and this and that. But this is what AOC has said about it. Right. See, that's what a lot of people think. A lot of people think that this is literally just a way to pay all those individuals, pay a hit squad essentially. They already had them do one thing. See, rhetoric like that is why they're saying, "Oh, well, they're setting it up to pay all those people that money." That's basically what they're going to do. They're setting it up to pay all those people that money that they have basically put to the side to be like, "Hey, good job for rioting. Good job for going and doing all that." Um, oh, you still can't hear the video? Oh no, I didn't turn on. Yikes, I didn't turn that on. Okay.
Fund at this point, extorting everyone and anyone he can, and this whole thing is just a piggy bank that they're using. They're robbing every.
Congresswoman, any reaction to this $1.7 billion slush fund that Trump is proposing from the IRS for January 6 insurrectionists and pardoned fraudsters?
I mean, he's using the entire government as a slush fund at this point, extorting everyone and anyone he can, and this whole thing is just a piggy bank that they're using. They're robbing everybody of their health care in order to become billionaires, and they're going to cut loose. And it's one of the most unpatriotic and un-American acts I've seen in my entire life, and probably in modern political history.
Got it. Congresswoman, any...
That one. Yeah, sorry, I forgot I needed to turn the audio
Disproportionate.
on.
They were mistreated in some way. I find, just Carol, on this point, one of the interesting things about the American media is there is a fascination. If you go to any American law school, there are these, prisoner rights clinic. There are people who objectively committed heinous crimes, but the American media and the American Legal Academy has decided that even though they committed bad crimes, their sentence was disproportionate, they were mistreated in some way. You know who never, ever gets an ounce of sympathy when it comes to that disproportionate sentencing is people who voted for Donald Trump and participated in the January 6th protest. Go to her second
Yeah,
question.
like I said, that's why people are saying that, because they're essentially setting it up to give all that money to January Sixers, and people are saying that's insane. They were arrested as terrorists, like they were arrested as terrorists, and now they're receiving money, taxpayer money. They're going to receive taxpayer money, but here's the thing, though. Staff is saying that anybody can file a claim for this money. So, in my opinion, I say do that. If you're an American citizen, and like they said, if you feel like you've been wronged by the government, file a claim. Try to get some of this money. Do it. Go ahead, do it. If that's true, do it. Screw it. Don't let the January 6ers take this money. If it's apparently okay for anyone who feels like they've been wronged to get some of this money, go ahead and get it. It's reparations for anybody who's been wronged by the government. That's what they said. Once again, yeah, sorry about the videos. Let's go ahead and play the videos again then.
He has worked to over... You know y'all fucked up, right? Y'all fucked up. You know y'all fucked up, right? Thousands of people marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge today. You do know y'all fucked up, right? Allow me to explain what I mean. You see, Donald Trump was inaugurated for his second term on January 20th, 2025 last year. And ever since then, a lot of fuck shit has happened. He has worked to overturn the 14th Amendment. ICE has raided streets and cities and counties and states and ripped people from their homes and torn families apart and just done illegal, egregious shit. Black and brown communities have been under attack by this private army built by Trump. The big beautiful bill was passed, robbing people of the little bit of tiny health care we have in America. The list goes on, and the black community said, hey, we've been telling you guys that this shit is the reality of America. We've been telling you how to fix it. We've been telling you what to do for fucking decades, and you don't listen. So this is your fight. And the black community stepped back, and they had every right to do so because they're right. White America didn't listen when they warned us. You see, I've said it 100 times, and people think I'm just virtue signaling. People think I'm just saying it to look good, but I'm not. Black people, specifically black women, have the right answer. The best protest you will ever attend is one
Why would he
organized
need
by
to
a
virtue
black woman.
signal
The most effective
towards a
protest
marginalized
you'll
group?
ever attend is one organized and put together
If he was
by
saying
a
it
black
about white
woman.
women, that
You
would
see,
be
I've been
virtue
boots on the
signaling
ground
here in
way
America.
before I was ever on social
Like what?
media. I was protesting way before I was ever on social media. You heard about me for the first time in 2020 or any time since then, but I was involved in these conversations way before I was ever on social media. And the thing I learned, the one thing I've taken away from all of my time doing shit on the street is that black people, specifically black women, know how to fucking fight shit. Just follow them. People say, Jolly, why aren't you running for office? Because I think white people need to sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and let people who know how to fight this run it for a little bit. And I think that black women are the best at doing it. Sorry, sue me, that's how I feel. And for the last 2 years, the black community looked at the white community and said, you didn't listen to us then, don't expect us to put ourselves on the front line now. And then MAGA fucked up. You know you fucked up, right? You fucked up. These corrupt motherfuckers got their buddies on the Supreme Court to gut the Voting Rights Act and then subsequently gerrymander the black vote out of existence in southern states. And now thousands of people marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge today and gathered in Montgomery, Alabama, and had one motherfucking hell of a rally. And if you don't know what happened in Montgomery, Alabama today,
they gave us struggle, we turned it into hip-hop. They gave us rams, we turned it into runway. They gave us rotten peaches, we turned them into cobbler. They gave us the disregarded meat nads, $30 a pound in the grocery store. You can't tell me we can't overcome without nothing.
I assure you, you are about to find out.
The goal of us mobilizing in Montgomery is for us, for our people, to leave activated.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about what our next steps should be.
That's right. That's right.
It's time to tap into our ancestral playbook.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all have heard your grandparents or your elders say things like, there are freedom lessons in a book, we just got to take a look. Everything I've organized comes from the tactics and the practices of those before me.
Pay attention, Red Hatters, because you're about to enter the find out phase of this fuck around, because the black community has entered the chat.
Rig a map, but you can't rig a movement. We are here because our ancestors marched on these streets, in these halls, in this building for us to be here.
And god damn it, I'm so fucking excited for the find out that you're about to have. Maybe instead of rigging the map, you should have read a history book. Because when the black community organizes the way they are right now, they shit on you. You know what happens? Civil rights. What you're seeing right now is the extinction burst of white supremacy fighting to scramble to stay alive because the progress of black liberation movements, brown liberation movements, and civil liberation movements was marching forward to the elimination of white supremacy. Now, it was happening too slow because white people wouldn't join the movement fast enough and in large enough numbers because white people gathered themselves into the bubble of privilege that the white supremacy offered them and didn't listen when the black community and brown community and marginalized communities spoke. But here we are now, white supremacy is scrambling to stay alive. And then you gutted the black vote off the maps. Man, you fucked up. Man, you fucked up.
The funny thing that I did mention earlier, like I said, what I was saying, him saying that, like, we sat things out for a while. Not really. I mean, it's just now more people are rallying again. I mean, I guess, yeah, some people were saying things online about not doing anything and saying, oh, it's white people's time to say things. But yeah. He is right, since they did start to reverse civil rights movements and acts and policies that were put into place, amendments. Now there are far more people who have stood up. People aren't going to sit idly by once you take away voting rights. Shit's crazy. And it's wild that, like, some people believe that what they're doing is fixing racism, and it's like, what do you mean they're taking away rights of non-white people? I don't understand what you're saying. What? And that's what happens when you don't actually, like, read news or listen to actual journalists. Like, this dude is a journalist. He's not some random podcaster. And me as well. My degree was journalism, so just saying. Anyways,
make homemade hamburgers?
This is what $10 worth of groceries looks like. This was $200.
Pump stops at 150. I'm not even at 3/4 of a tank.
I just spent $70 on a tank of gas.
I just paid $6.99 for a bag of chips that was filled a quarter way with chips and 75% air.
I want to remind you that in this last year, Donald Trump's wealth has increased threefold. He's up to almost $8 billion. Don Jr., his wealth increased sixfold. He's at $50 million, and Eric Trump, the big winner, his wealth increased tenfold to almost $500 million in 1 year. And MAGA wants to know, what's the big master plan? Trump's playing 5D chess. I'll tell you exactly what that master plan is. It is to extract as much money from you as fucking possible. That's why Trump was sued 3,000 times by small businesses, because they did work and Trump refused to pay him. Trump University got sued because he was fucking scamming students, selling them 3-day real estate classes, the gold package, for $35,000 and not delivering anything. His charity got shut down because Trump was taking money that was meant for children and veterans, and he bought himself a $10,000 self-portrait. The plan never changed. And now these motherfuckers are trying to change
he's
voting
doing
laws
the same
and
things he did when he was a businessman.
So that your fucking vote don't
just
matter.
steady
If you
making
feel
money.
like your
That's
voting
all he
rights
does,
are
is try to make
infringed upon,
money.
or you feel intimidated, or you feel like something's not right. You
Like,
call
even
these
when he went to
people
war
up,
with
because they are
Iran, he said a
collecting
lot of money
evidence
is going to
for
be
a
made.
massive
He said that
lawsuit
several
against the federal
times
government.
in his
Because make no
tweets.
mistake, these
He didn't give a
motherfuckers
fuck about
wanna
no
stay in
nuclear
power.
weapon.
No matter what, they want to stay in power. And we cannot let
That they
them.
don't have? Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I wanted to get through that, play those videos. Like I said, apologies about the audio not playing the first time. But yeah, technically we're in the Q&A version. Yeah, prices are going up. This is what I was talking about earlier. Their policies have led to prices going up. That's the main reason why people should want to vote Republicans out. Conservatives don't care about you making money. They care about them making money and then keeping money out of your fucking pocket because they don't think government spending should happen towards the people. They're perfectly fine with it happening towards war because that makes them money. Excuse me. Oh, God, excuse me. We are in an ad right now, so I'm going to wait until we're back. My understanding is that Democrats in the U.S. are still basically just ready to have like solely focus on protecting capital expense. Everything else is basically gracious things that will update population directing them towards marginalized groups as a distraction for the billionaires. Oh, I still my grocery bill last week was Jesus Christ. Just double checking. Can you hear me, Alba? Are you here? Do you have turbo maybe? I'll wait to respond to you. Okay, you can hear me. Yes, you are. Are you subbed? It says the ads are going. How can you hear me? That's weird. Whatever. Yeah, what you said about Democrats, those are what we call liberals. We call those liberals. Democrats technically are not supposed to be like that, right? Like, they're not supposed to be like that. But there are Democrats that do technically vote similar policies that Republicans, conservatives vote for. And generally, we will call those liberals. Now, mind you, people are very loose with the term liberal, and they'll call, some people will call any Democrat a liberal. But those of us who are leftists, which aren't Democrats, but, do, in my opinion, fall under the Democratic umbrella. Leftists are socialists, really. And you can be a democratic socialist, which I showed you earlier, AOC, the woman with the glasses, she would be considered a democratic socialist. Bernie Sanders, I believe, would be considered a democratic socialist. Andrew Yang, right, a democratic socialist. They're not like that. They're not like that type of Democrat that you mentioned. So not all of them are like that. But at the same time, there's a very few good Republicans, right? There's a very few good Republicans that do actually believe in giving things to the people, right? Giving various expenses to the people and actually spending money on the people. So on both sides, there are people who have logical sense. Like, what is it? John Fetterman. Look up John Fetterman. John Fetterman is a prime example of what you mentioned. He's a grave disappointment. He came in running like a normal everyday guy, right? That guy who wore the hoodies. You might have seen him in the news, possibly. I don't know. He was wearing a hoodie, trying to act like, everyday guy, one of the people type guy, and then like now he's voting to keep the war in Iran going on. And he's the only Democrat that did that, by the way. The only one. The only one. By himself. Only one. So, just to give you some information on that, pretty much all Democrats were like, no on the war on Iran. He said yes. So that was some crazy shit there. But yeah, unfortunately, there are some Democrats that are like that. But they are not, as a whole, supposed to be like that. And just like neocons are honestly different from old world conservatives, neo-Dems, I'll say, because like I said, you got liberals and you got democratic socialists and all that. There's a myriad of hats that fall under the Democratic Party, in my opinion. It might be a bit skewed and uninformed to say that, but well, because there's a lot of people that will just be like, no, they're all liberals, or no, they're just all Democrats. But I don't know. I don't agree with that. Because like I said, leftists and a lot of socialists don't consider themselves Democrats. I don't consider myself a Democrat. I'm not affiliated with Democrats. I'm independent. So, but then there are some socialists, like I said, who are democratic socialists, and they're probably affiliated with the Democratic Party. Like AOC, she's a democratic socialist, and she is a Democrat representative. So there's that. It's just like, being trans. Like, there's varying trans stories, right? Like, no two trans people are the same. It's similar here. And I think that's where the disconnect comes. over on the Republican Party, they're very unified. Like, you ask each one the same questions. Majority of them are going to answer the same way. Like, they're lemmings. And that's why that's why they're like that. Like it's kind of you kind of got to look at it from a psychological standpoint. Like, that's why they're like that. That's why they do these things. They're like a hive mind collective kind of people. Like, they will listen to the person next to them and then continue to channel that same energy, right? And then teach somebody else that same shit, and so on and so forth. It's like zombies, like, you know, just infecting each other with that fucking shit. And that's why they come after us, talking about like, oh, you have this ideology and that ideology and da 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 da. No, that's what you're doing. that's what you're doing. And the weird thing is that, like, it's kind of creepy when you think about it. It's like the people in power, like, they know what they're doing to these people, and then they're trying to turn around and say that on the Democratic side, the Democrats are doing the same thing. And, you know, and it's like, no, that's not what's happening. Like, it's eerie. But like you said about your grocery bill, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, prices have fucking gone up. Staggeringly. I don't think I've heard a Republican who's willing to put forth policies that actually benefit people, at least in recent years. Right now, it kind of just feels... Yeah, like I said, a majority of them aren't like that. A majority of them, because, I mean, they're conservative. Inherently, that right there. Hold on to the money, right? Hold on. Like I said, my state, massive surplus, billions of dollars. We could use those billions of dollars on the state itself. We could really use that. Like, it needs to be spent. Like, there's a reason why New York, you know, was negative. They spend their money on their people. Even before they were a more socialist place, like, they were still spending their money on their people, and they have better public transportation and better jobs and things like that, right? Like, even still, I would say they probably have better housing than here. Even though they have housing issues, like, they probably still have better housing than here. Oh yeah, increasing funding to orphanages. Republicans don't give a shit about kids after they're born. They only care about kids when they're inside the womb, because for weird religious reasons, for some fucking reason. But once a kid's born, they don't give a fuck. They don't give two shits. They don't care about, they want to take away welfare for children. They were happy with Elon cutting funding, medical care and food and all that for children, because in their minds that was taxes on them that they were paying and causing their prices to go up. Meanwhile, after all that stuff got cut, prices are still going up. That has nothing to do. They have nothing to do with each other. They have absolutely nothing to do with each other. That the funding for those programs has nothing to do with your grocery prices. The funding for those programs isn't enough to have your taxes be crazy. Hell, we want to put in policies, socialist policies, I do anyways, us socialist people, want to put in policies that would actually get you taxes to the point that you're actually trying to act like are already there. Your taxes aren't there. So it's like, what are these people talking about? Like, oh, my taxes go to paying that. No. Look at what's going on. They cut it, and you're paying more. They cut all this shit, and you're paying more. They cut the healthcare. They cut the SNAP benefits. They cut all the welfare, and you're still paying more. You're a fool if you think that was causing you financial dismay. I also think it's pretty bad that what happens in the U.S. affects everyone else. Well, that's the problem. We're a world power, right? Like, we're heavy in the trade market, right? And these tariffs that are being put on all these various markets, it's affecting everyone. That's what it is. And then you also have to take into account the petrol dollar too. The petrol dollar, like, most people buy oil with our money. That's where a majority of our money comes from, is people buying oil around the world. So, like, our money heavily dictates the world economy, crazily enough. And that also shows how ridiculous things are right now, right? Like, if we have that much financial control, why is the average person here at such a large of a country only making $66,000 a year? And then meanwhile, we've got a representative saying, oh, well, we can't live off of, some of our people, some of our other representatives can't live off of $175,000 a year. Well, if you think $175,000 a year isn't enough for the average family to live off of, why the fuck do we think it's okay for the average salary to be $66,000 a year for us here in a country that basically dictates prices around the world? Like, if we go to war, prices around the world are fucked. If we fuck with the trade market, prices around the world are fucked. Right? Free trade agreements get all fucked up. Now prices go up around the world. Like, come on. What? This is wild. This doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's kind of why, like, hilariously enough, our dollar is not worth the most as far as world currency, but it is used in a lot of trade around the world. And it's very scary for our economy right now, to be completely honest, to get into that petrodollar a little bit more, because of what Trump is doing. And this will affect you too, Canada, technically, because I mean, you're part of America as well. Like, the mind you, you have a different dollar, but still. But like, if some countries decide to get off of the petrodollar, right? If they unify and decide to get off of the petrodollar, like say China, good God, China, Russia, so on and so forth, then our economy's gonna tank. Like, as far as I know, like, this is not coming from an expert, obviously. I mean, I did take some business classes. I was a business major for a little bit, but I didn't finish it or anything. Yeah, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good if countries switch from the petrodollar. Yeah, nonetheless, like, even if we don't tank, it's not going to be good, right? Like, let's get that out of the way. It's not going to be good. It's going to be very, very, very bad. And it makes me wonder if that's why we're always seeking out oil so much, that we're trying to control enough oil to the point that it won't matter if the petrodollar is still being circulated. And then also AI, right? Like, is this why we're pushing into AI so heavily? We're trying to find some other commodity we can thrive off of. Allow a bunch of data centers to be here so that the American government can then make money off of the usage of AI. But then in turn, that's going to, deteriorate the environment. So no, that's a bad move. Let's not do that. I don't know how to segue into this, but with people only making $66,000 a year, I think as wealth gets concentrated upwards, companies are finding that it less and less viable to cater to the majority. I think the argument I've heard is, why should a company cater to 100 people paying $10 each when you could cater to one person paying you $2,000? Yeah. So everyone else just being left behind in favor for the wealthiest communities. I mean, right. That's essentially what kind of is going on, right? If they raise the price of things and people can still pay them, they don't really care, right? Like, they don't really give two shits. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. I mean, at the same argument, the Republicans were saying that, oh, well, we haven't received a raise in X amount of years, blah, 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 blah. And then to that point, I will say, right, the nation as a whole has not received a raise. And you yourself are saying life is unaffordable. So then in turn, shouldn't something be done? Like, it's a bit moronic to say that, you know, when you think about it. Like, if companies are out here saying that, and then you, the elected official on the conservative side, is saying, you know, X amount of dollars being made is not enough and there hasn't been a raise, yada, 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 yada. Prices are high. Where's the disconnect? How can you not see the disconnect? Like, what? Like, you're preaching to the choir. Like, we've been saying this, buddy. Like, what? Like, it made no sense. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? With the AI thing, I don't actually think the goal was ever to make a sustainable business model. I think it was made for misinformation. Oh, it's really hard for people to unite. Oh, you think it's a weapon? Interesting take, Alba. You think they intentionally want to make people stupid? I mean, valid. Because it doesn't make sense why they couldn't program something smarter. Like, a lot of people are just kind of buying the idea that, like, oh, well, it's learning. It's in its infantile state. That's why it says stupid shit. And no, I think they could have programmed it better to not say some of the really stupid shit it said. Like, what was it? Somebody the other day said AI told them they suggested the word dinnered as a better grammatical phrasing. Dinnered? Is that even a word? Dinnered? Dinnered? Like, I mean, I'm kind of with you, Alba. Like, AI is making people stupid. Like, what is it in our Star Citizen org? There's a student that I got into a whole debate with them about using AI to write a paper. They had a paper that they forgot to write, and they went into AI, and they had the AI generate a paper like that. And I proceeded to say to them, well, you didn't learn anything at all. There's no way you learned anything. The fact that you waited last minute to write this paper, I know you probably didn't even pay attention to the class or study or anything. Push comes to shove, yes, they were failing the class. They have no clue about anything about the class whatsoever. And they just proceeded to use AI to write a paper for them to try to bare minimum pass the class. And now they're going to be dumber and not know anything about that subject whatsoever. But due to AI assisting them, they can now keep moving on. And then I proceeded to tell them that, like, various companies don't allow you to even use AI when you're at work. So you becoming dependent on AI is a very bad idea to begin with. Like, you can only use it in your off hours, essentially. And you're not going to learn anything. You're literally not going to learn anything. It's no different from back in the day when they were telling us, you know, don't always use a calculator. Do mental math when you can. Because nowadays I can see it. I can see it. People younger than me can't do basic math in their head. It's crazy. Well, I mean, think about what the mainstream says about AI is about versus what actually happening. AI is constantly losing money. It's done nothing but confidently confuse people. It makes everything harder. But what it does, really, well, is obscure information. The purpose of a system is what it does after all. I agree. I 100% agree with you. It is a disinformation machine. And that's the funny thing, too. It very much props up MAGA as well, I've noticed. And then look at Grok, though. I've noticed that Grok actually, hilariously enough, prime example. Elon Musk will go to use Grok on Twitter or X to try to prove his points sometimes. And then it'll disagree with him. Or somebody will use Grok against his tweets and Grok will disprove his tweet. And that right there is hilarious enough in itself. This dude's own AI that he put on his own platform doesn't even help him. Like, it constantly shits on him. What? like what? It's not intelligent. It's not intelligent. To say it is artificial, obviously, but it's definitely not intelligent. And like I said, detrimental to the environment. And like you said, losing money. There's various things that are losing money. Where it is making money, I believe, is in military usage, right? Like defense usage more than anything. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not going to say that's 100% true. That's why I asked. I think it's in weapons and stuff. That's where it's actually making all the money. But as far as educational purposes and things like that, it's shit. It's complete shit. It's terrible. It's not good. It's not good at all. But man, hey, we hit past an hour this episode. That's cool. Mind you, that was probably because we had to rewatch some videos because I didn't have the sound on. Once again, I apologize for that. But yeah, I want to keep these at just roughly an hour. I don't want to go any longer than that. But yeah, thank you for being here. We'll be back next Wednesday around 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, no, it's not gonna be 24 hours. I gotta go to work anyways. I gotta go make some money. Take a shower, make some money. Eat something too. But yeah, thank you for being here, Alba. I appreciate the talks that made it far more entertaining. I prefer there to be more conversation in this podcast than even in the stream, to be honest. And especially with international individuals as well. I want to get perspectives of people outside of America on these things as well. Because like I've said, all these topics are going to be generally about things going on in America because, well, I live in America. But if there's, crazy things going on outside of America that are international problems, yeah, we'll talk about this too. But like I said, this is it's called Wake Up because I'm trying to go back to the original terminology of woke, right? During the civil rights era, the gay rights era, being woke meant being aware of, the shit, that's what it actually meant. Now, yes, now they've attached it to political policies and, apparently being a good person is woke, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah, we're left leaning here, obviously. Like I said, I'm a socialist, not a Democrat. I'm a socialist. So some people would say maybe even extreme left. That's fine. Whatever. Leftist news, baby. But yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday. I want to say it's harder to get conversations about stuff like this going that it is just to talk about games, but thinking about it more, I don't think that's true. It's just you have to find certain circles. There's plenty of people that play video games and are willing to talk about these things. Like in our organization, the Big Sclates. I don't know if you played with him. He is on the left as well. I would say that he is more of a Democratic, not even a Democrat, sorry, communist, I believe, maybe I would say. Oh, that's unfortunate. Next time where you see us all together, you should hop in. But like I'd say more communist socialists. I believe I would say, because he wasn't even for Kamala Harris. Like we've gotten into conversations. And like I said, he wasn't even for Kamala Harris. I voted for Kamala Harris because I don't want Trump. Like there's various policies that I don't agree with Kamala Harris. Like she took money from AIPAC, all kinds of shit, right? Like there's various things I don't like that she did. But I still think it would have been much better than Trump. But with that being said, him and I disagreeing on Kamala Harris, like we're still able to have conversations about stuff like this, right? And in my opinion, human rights is not politics. It only became politics because we need laws to protect people. It's unfortunate. People's behavior made topics that shouldn't be debatable become topics that we have to debate about simply to enforce protections, if that makes sense. It's not hard to talk about these topics. It's just that the average person within the game setting doesn't want to hear these things during their fun time, right? And Twitch was originally a gaming venue, right? So inherently, people gathering here kind of don't want to talk about this stuff. But Twitch is evolving, right? And there's various channels that do more than just gaming. And then, yes, I'm originally a gaming channel, but as I've stated several times, I've always been radical even before I was an adult and could vote. So this is nothing new to me. And like I said, I went to school for journalism as well. So this, to me, this makes sense. I would have done this earlier in life if I had the options and time, but I didn't. And I'm especially doing this now because of what's going on. Like I said, the Civil Rights Act is under attack. Like, human rights are under attack. We have literal fascists in office right now. Everybody should be talking about this. Everybody who's affected by this should be talking about this, I think. That's just that's my opinion. But, you know, yeah. That makes sense. There isn't much overlap between activism and gaming, though I think it's pretty unfortunate that MAGA and corporation found a loophole by weaponizing the whole woke is killing games idea. Yeah. They here's the thing. They know how to market things. MAGA knows how to market things. Democrats don't. Democrats have no idea how to reach people. Not even just young people. They used to be like, oh, you don't know how to reach young people. Democrats don't know how to reach people in general. And unfortunately, a lot of conservatives are tied to the business sector. So they understand marketing. They understand how to talk to people, especially Trump. Trump is a businessman. Trump knows how to market things. Hell, like, what was it? He made this ridiculous comment. He was like, we're going to call it Epic Fury Plus. Like, that's a very business jargony thing to say, to add a plus to the end of it. Like, right? Like, but the funny thing is that will work on his constituents. That will play to their ear. They like hearing shit like that. And they know that, right? And then, like you said, the whole woke is killing games. That's how they get a bunch of young people to vote for them, by doing shit like that, right? They targeted people that are in our sector saying that shit, that are quote unquote anti-woke because they don't want to hear about trans this and gay that in their games. And then in turn they voted for this guy because they think he's going to give a shit about that. I think they do. Bernie, and more recently Mamdani, was really popular with young people. Right. Yes. Those are, like I said, those are neo-Dems. Just like neocons are popular with young people, neo-Dems are popular with young people on the left. I think the left can appeal to young people with people like Bernie and Mamdani. Yeah, exactly. a lot of like I said before, I think I said I was very Bernie Sanders. Maybe I didn't. But yeah, Bernie Sanders is a Democratic Socialist. I wanted Bernie Sanders to be our president. I did not want Biden. I wanted Bernie Sanders. There were a lot of people who voted for Trump that wanted Bernie Sanders. If Democrats had gotten Bernie Sanders to win that primary, here's the thing: the Democratic convention didn't even want to endorse Biden at first when he won the primary. They were openly saying, "Oh, we haven't endorsed him yet. We haven't endorsed him yet." Now, mind you, a lot of people will say, "Oh, they always say that," but I don't know. I think even they were like, "Damn it, we wish Bernie had won." What, right? But you know, he won the primary, so he was going to be the candidate. That's just how it goes. But the Democratic convention technically still could have endorsed somebody else. Technically, they can't endorse somebody else. That would have been unprecedented, but they could have endorsed somebody else. Yeah, Bernie would have been fan-fucking-tastic. But that would have been those quote-unquote woke policies that Republicans say, you know, they run against. They used to say this is the death of woke, right? This era, this Trump regime right now is going to be the death of woke. We're going after woke, right? They got rid of DEI, right? That was their first step to getting rid of woke, was getting rid of DEI. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? And the fact that woke has been weaponized, like, it was never supposed to be a pejorative. It was never supposed to be negative. If you are woke, that was always a good thing during the civil rights era and the gay rights era. That was, you were one of the good guys, right? You were on the right side of history. But in turn, they're like I said, they're weaponizing it because they know that there's a target audience that does not like it. So they use that to try to get votes. And then in turn, policies don't even have anything to do with any of that shit. The policies are like that, like the guy said, the whole game is just to make money. That's what the whole game is the whole time, just to make more money. That's what it always has been. That's all it is. All right, but that's it. I don't want to get off into too many tangents. We can talk about more of this shit next time. I love y'all. Thank you for being here. Alba, you are a gem. Please come back next week, Wednesday morning. I love talking to you about this stuff. You are a wonderful person to bounce this stuff off of. And everybody else who was here, you know, even if you were looking, come back too. And then, yeah, like I said, Alba, definitely join up with us when we're playing. I've been playing solo lately because I like to, well, when I'm earning money, I like to play solo. But every once in a while I will get with org members and we'll do some stuff together. So if you see me on stream playing with other people, join in. You don't have to get into VC or nothing. But if you want to meet people, right, we'll do it that way. But yeah, anyways, love y'all. Thank you for the lurks. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the views. Bye 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 bye.